This is my video for my Trooper Division run at InRangeTV's Woodland Brutality 2025. Trooper Division allows for unlimited optics, accessories, and magazine capacities at the cost of having to hike everything around the range on your body. Essentially, if you didn't hike in with it, you can't use it, and running out of ammo is a real possibility in Trooper Division for those that cut their round count too close. Trooper Division does allow for the use of pistol caliber carbines in place of rifle and pistol, but only one long gun may be used per stage unless otherwise specified. My Trooper Division run was during the staff match, and unfortunately on stage 1 here I did not get video captured of my run through. This stage featured targets at 100, 200, and 400 yards with rifle. I'm using my 14.7-inch WWSD with SIG Romeo 4T optic and Juliet 4 magnifier. After 2 iterations through engaging the rifle targets from 3 different positions, the shooter clears and grounds their rifle and moves forward to engage pistol targets, but first they have to pull a kettlebell up the hill using a rope. The pistol I used for this match is a Glock 45 with Radian ramjet compensator and lead and steel Pandora red dot. From the pistol position on this stage, there's a static target that must be hit, along with a mini-mo, which must have the head and chest both activated. The shooter engages both of these targets from 2 positions. On this stage, I'm first in Trooper Division. The stage begins by engaging a rifle target at 200 yards. I am using my 8-inch barreled 9mm PCC on this stage for all of the targets. Actually got 3 hits there, but the time for the audio to travel back to the RO meant that I was already sending another shot before they called the hits. From this area of the stage, the shooter has to hit the activator for the Y-swinger, then one of the plates off the Y-swinger, then a popper, then the Y-swinger, and then begin alternating back and forth between a popper and the Texas Star. It's important that you verify the target's actually going down before moving on to the next target. Shooting targets out of sequence is a plus 60-second penalty. No need to clear guns between positions here because basically with the way the berms are set up, we have a 270-degree arc of fire. From this area, the shooter has to get 2 hits on the static plate from each of these barrels. Notice I keep the gun up while I'm moving forward. Keep the gun roughly oriented towards the target as I'm retreating. Snap into position, get the 2 hits. From this last position, I have to clear the gun and shoot it clear as part of the stage procedure, as a handgun shooter would have to. Reload to engage from the VTAC, and now I have to get 2 hits from each of the notated positions. This is the same rifle target we engaged at the beginning of the stage, now at 100 yards from the shooter. I'm glad I got a set of Peltor Sport Tac Ear Pro because I can more clearly hear the hits on the steel target at range. And that's really important to be able to have confidence that I'm ready to move on to the next position. The shooter didn't have to use all of the shooting positions here. They had to use step 1, step 2, square 1, square 2, slant 1, or slant 2 in any one of the bottom shooting positions. I'm first in Trooper Division on this stage. The stage begins with the shooter using the stage shotgun to engage 2 static steel plates representing drones. They then will engage the rest of the stage with their PCC or handgun as applicable. You can see that where I'm standing in the trench, I'm skimming rounds over the top of that first berm there, but I do get all the hits required. Moving down through the trench here from this first position, there's a double spinner. I have to get 1 hit, top and bottom, on each plate, then repeat the process. And then I can spin them for an optional bonus.
Both of them are over?
Verify with the RO that both spinners are over because it's kind of hard to keep track of both of them at the same time. From this position, I'm supposed to shoot top and bottom on the spinner again, but I go to move on, forgetting that I have to make an extra set of hits. The RO corrects me and I move back into position. Never think that actually designing and writing the stages yourself will save you from making mental errors like this on the clock. Also note from that last position, due to the length of my magazine, I had to turn my gun sideways to make the hits. From this position, same thing, top, bottom. And now I can rotate the spinner for an optional bonus. From this corner position, I have to hit the top, bottom again on the spinner, which is tricky because it is actually rotating still at this point. I get the hits required on both the top and bottom plates. Moving on, there is a static plate through this position that I need to get 3 hits on. And moving to this final position, there are 3 knockdown targets. With 3 30-second spinner bonuses on this stage, I am first in Trooper Division. This stage requires that troopers wear all of their equipment throughout the entire stage, and the shooter has the choice of either crawling under tripwires or carrying an 80-pound mortar tube throughout the course. Because I'm wearing all my gear, I do not want to try to crawl under the tripwire, so I'm going to carry the 80-pound mortar tube. This is the last stage of the first day of the staff match, and it's raining. There is a single steel target out there about 150 yards away from the start, and because of the lighting conditions and rain, it is a bit difficult to see through the trees. I should also note that the shooter must kneel to shoot from each one of the designated shooting positions. This makes it even more fatiguing while wearing about 60 to 70 pounds of gear and carrying this tube throughout the stage. The backpack I'm using is a Spec Ops brand, The Pack, and the padded shoulder straps make it a bit more difficult to shoulder my rifle how I want to. Sometimes I'm feeling my stock slide out of my shoulder pocket because of the shoulder strap, shooting with it in place. Not something I normally have to deal with, but that's the point of having stage challenges like this, is to make people test their gear as a total system. Stuffing my PCC on the side with a canteen pouch holding the buttstock and the compression strap holding the PCC in place did work pretty well for transporting it from stage to stage and having it on hand as required for this stage. Proactively reloading here so I don't shoot empty. Going to have a total of 2 more shooting positions after this one. It's also interesting watching the flash signature from this BCM comp in this more humid, wet environment. It's not something I see as easily in Arizona. And one final position up front here from the stump, and I'll be done with the stage. You can tell my legs are pretty fatigued at the end here after getting up and getting down so many times carrying the weight. I'm 11th in Trooper Division on this stage. If you could do it, crawling under the wires was definitely the faster way to shoot the stage, but that wasn't going to happen with my equipment loadout. This is the first stage of day 2 of the staff match. From each position on this stage, the shooter has to engage a 200-yard target, go to the next target further out, which is about 300 yards, back to the 200-yard target, then to a target about 350 to 400 yards, back to the 200-yard target, and then there was a bonus target at about 450 or 500 yards that was worth minus 15 seconds. I opted to not go for the bonus target because I wasn't confident that I was actually going to be able to hit it from these positions. And it was only a minus 15-second bonus, so that could turn into a big time sink if you don't get your hits quickly going for the bonus. From this position, I'm feeling my right leg tremble from the strain of the last stage the day before, and I am not as stable shooting from these standing positions on the stage, or ones where I'm relying on leg support, as I would normally be as a result. Because the ground is covered in grass and wet from the rain the day before, it makes it very difficult to see misses as I would normally shooting in the desert to fire and adjust. Ultimately, as the stage progresses and I get lower to the ground and more supported, my hit ratio improves because my leg tremble isn't affecting me as much, if at all, and I know where I need to hold better for each of the respective targets on this range. When you're working with props like this, always push into the corners if you can. As a left-handed shooter, I want to push into the left side of the corner with my support hand really locking the rifle in. Sometimes on stages like this, visibility of the targets can change throughout the course because the targets are on the edge of the wood line. Cloud cover affects how much light they're getting. The angle the shooter is shooting from, as well as the height of the shooter, can also change how visible they are. Sometimes when I was engaging these targets, just moving 20 feet over to the next position and changing height made them significantly less visible than they were from somewhere else. From this position, I'm resting my magazine and elbow on the tire. I don't want to go too low behind the tire because it's an awkward height otherwise. It's too high to go completely prone, but too low if I support off the fore end to really get behind the gun. I'm 11th in Trooper Division on this stage. As you can see from the scores, going after the bonuses was the right choice, even if you didn't get all of them. The stage begins with the shooter seated at the picnic table and any firearms and ammunition they wish to use on the stage on the table. I opt to use my PCC for everything on this stage. There are 2 rifle targets at 100 yards and 2 pistol targets at 25 yards. After this initial engagement on all 4 targets, the shooter has to run over and grab a tire or an ammo can. Go back to center, and if you're carrying a tire, you engage the rifle targets. If you're carrying an ammo can, you engage the pistol targets, then complete moving the object over to the opposite side. By doing this, the stage is self-resetting. It doesn't matter which side the tires and ammo cans start on, so it makes it much easier from a match administration perspective to just keep the stage flowing and not having to reset props. So carrying the ammo can that time, that means I'm engaging the pistol targets with 3 hits each. I should note that after the first shooting position seated at the table, the shooter cannot support off the table for any of these shots. All of these shots must be fired standing unsupported. These rifle targets are easier to hear my hits on with a PCC than the other 100-yard rifle target I previously engaged, and they do wiggle a bit so you can see that the impacts are being made. My advice to other shooters on stages like this is to simply maintain a constant pace throughout the entire run. It doesn't benefit you to speed up your movement only to get into the shooting position, to take more time to set and recover and make the hits. Watching people shoot this stage, I saw a lot of people start out strong, really aggressive with their movement, but by the end they were missing so much that it didn't save them anything. Might as well take a moment to talk about the PCC I'm using while we're watching me slog through this stage. It is a registered short barrel rifle, KE Arms KP9 polymer receiver. Has an 8-inch barrel with an unrivaled muzzle brake. Has a 7-inch handguard with a vertical grip. When we get to handguards this short, I prefer vertical grips to make sure my hand is away from the muzzle and control the firearm effectively. The buffer system is the Maxim Defense delayed system that we've talked about on InRangeTV before. And that buffer system combined with the muzzle brake on the short barrel makes the gun very controllable and quite fast to rapidly hammer targets. Muzzle brakes on 9mm often don't do a lot, particularly the longer the barrel. There's less gas to work with, but with this 8-inch barreled gun, it is quite effective. That's the end of the stage. This stage did have a 240-second par time, and a lot of people parred out on it. I am first in Trooper Division on this stage. Shooter starts on the wobbly bridge here, and with intermediate caliber rifles, there are 2 hits required on each of the 3 steel plates across the back. Getting the timing right to hit the plates is a challenge, and the more you shoot, the more the wobbly platform moves around. With my hits complete, I safe and ground the rifle to exit the wobbly bridge, reacquire the rifle, and now there is a static target out at about 200 yards to engage from the VTAC. With 2 hits complete, I drop the mag, clear the rifle, dry fire. Moving down range, I have to hit the pistol targets from each of the arrow positions. 1 hit on each target, move. Note how I keep the pistol down range, on target, so I can start shooting as soon as I step into position. I really like shooting this Glock 45 with the Radian Ramjet and the red dot. Very minimal muzzle flip. And for the matches where this configuration of pistol is allowed, it is my preferred pistol at this point. Drop the mag, rack the slide, dry fire, holster. Hot holstering is always prohibited at Brutality matches for safety reasons. Knock the tube over, drag the weighted dummy back to the starting area. Once it's over, reacquire the rifle, reload the rifle, and re-engage the target at 200. Once I've made the hits on that, I got to get back on the wobbly platform and hit the original 3 targets again. Getting back on the platform on the clock, the platform is obviously moving more, and these shots are accordingly more challenging. I'm trying to break the shots as the dot dances across the target, but feels like I'm a little too late most of the time. Have to shoot a little bit earlier. Trying to overcorrect and drive the gun towards the target doesn't work, in my opinion, on this sort of prop. You want to hold stable center and send it when it comes across. I'm first in Trooper Division on this stage. In the end, I'm first out of 27 shooters who completed the match in Trooper Division. I am third out of 181 shooters overall who completed the match. I can already see you typing, saying, wow, how'd the guy in Iron Sights win overall? That's impressive. And no doubt, he is a skilled shooter. However, Iron Sights are a historic division at Brutality matches, meaning they have roughly half the hit requirements as modern divisions. Overall results are just for the sake of interest to compare across divisions. Division results are what actually matter for placement. Thank you for watching. If you like this kind of action shooting competition content, please come back for more. My American Standard run at Woodland Brutality 2025 will be up next. And always remember, the Second Amendment is for everyone.